Well, hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Rich Longo, and I'll be your host for today's presentation. Thank you for joining us for another Flycast Partners webinar. We have quite a few folks that are still trying to get logged in and signed in for today's webinar, but before we get started, welcome to Digital Transformation. Are you Amazon or Toys R Us? Presented by Bobby McCullough. Bobby has been in the IT industry for well over 20 years, and he started with Flycast Partners this year to help us expand our reach into digital transformation. He has been involved in the implementation of multiple tools for major multinational financial organization, a software engineer for the United States Postal Service, and many, many other organizations. He is ITIL V3 and Scrum certified with experience in ITSM, ITFM, ITAM, and digital transformation. Before we get started today, Bobby, let me introduce our organization. Flycast Partners is here to deliver a seriously amazing IT experience. Founded and staffed by personnel to have many years of experience in the IT space, we took the best ideas from these collective experiences and added the best components necessary to grow and become a leading value-added reseller in the North American IT market. We offer best-in-class implementation services and training in ITSM, ITAM, workload automation, capacity optimization, and enterprise service management using nothing but ITIL best practice. Our professional services can easily scale up or down to meet the IT needs of any customer regardless of size, complexity, or budgetary restrictions. We offer implementation services both on-site and remote, as well as training to reinforce your organization's long-term IT success. Ongoing remote administration support service offerings will enable you to focus on your normal day-to-day operations, saving you both precious time and money. I encourage you to give us a call at 844-FLYCAST, that's 844-359-2278, and ask us any questions or allow us to help you get that training that you need, or help you out with any projects that you may have upcoming. Or you can simply visit our website at www.flycastpartners.com. You can go in and look at various tools that we offer and processes, training that we offer, or just simply go take a look at some of the upcoming webinars, find ones that you're interested in, and share those with your coworkers and friends. And we'd be happy to have you reach out to us through our chat box, and one of our certified business development representatives will be happy to help you out in any way that they can. Now, at this point, I'm going to turn this over to none other than our presenter, Bobby McCullough. Bobby, I'm giving you control of the screen, sir. And it looks like we still have some people that are signing in, so quite a few folks from Canada. It looks like the Northwest and the Northeast, some folks in Florida, all over the country, all over the North America. I see your screen. It's perfect. It looks like you're on mute.
I'm good, Rich. Thank you very much. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. We're going to spend a little time today talking about Amazon and Toys R Us. Now, we're going to talk a bit about these two retailers, but really this story today could be about any two retailers, and these two have just sort of been in the news recently. We're going to talk about Amazon, Toys R Us, their recent history, and then we're going to talk about how that relates to BMC's TrueSight operations management and AI ops. We'll start with Toys R Us. I'm sure you're familiar with Toys R Us. You've bought something there. Maybe it was a Madden game or a deck of poker cards for your Wednesday night. Maybe it was a present for your nephew or son. So I'm sure everyone's familiar with Toys R Us. They've really, they're a brick and mortar location. That's been their focus for years. And in the recent past, they revamped their in-store experience. So the purpose behind that was to give customers a experience that they could not have in online retailers. So they matched online prices, which everyone knows that can be difficult given different delivery models, and basically piled up $5 billion in debt. These store experiences that they were looking at were things like Nerf practice areas or an area where customers could fly a drone around. This is all something that, you know, how can they separate themselves from the pack? How can they separate themselves from online retailers? They were looking to drive customers to their stores. They were looking to get customers to act the way they wanted them to act. All this led to $5 billion in debt, a crushing debt for them. And this really set the stage for where we are currently, or where Toys R Us is currently. What got them to this point was a concern for what products to carry. You know, they've got to find the wow products, those products that customers are going to come in, want to put their hands on, want to play with in that new revamped area, those revamped areas of the stores. But the main thing was, what can they do to get the customers to buy the way Toys R Us wants them to buy? How can they drive customers to their store to buy their stuff? And that's key. That's a big difference between the two organizations. So let's look at Amazon. The battle between these two really began over 10 years ago. Toys R Us had a contract with Amazon whereby Amazon would be the exclusive online retailer for Toys R Us products, and it seemed like a really good idea at the time. Both sides were leveraging what they did best, Toys R Us being the toy retailer, Amazon providing that online experience. But there was a problem. The contract was really sort of one-sided in that it was exclusive to Toys R Us, meaning Toys R Us could use no other online retailers. Amazon, on the other hand, had the availability to go out and use any other retailers they wanted to use to add to their own shop, just like they had Toys R Us. So this was some considerable contract leverage that that Amazon had, even back 10 years ago. But Amazon is always the first to the market with innovation, whether it's a unique customer-centric perspective or delivery technology. They've got a warehouse, a big distribution center here in Tennessee near me, and it's absolutely huge. They've brought in warehouse robots. You know, you've heard them in the news looking at delivery drones, all those type of things. They're first in the market with innovation. So how did Amazon get here? Well, one of the things that they're different about from Toys R Us is Amazon was less concerned about what products to offer you, because really they offer them all. In that respect, they're sort of the Sears and Roebuck of the modern age. They make it easy to do business with them. You can find what you're looking for, and if you're a member of Amazon Prime, most things you can have at your door in 2 days. So they're truly focused on how they can make your shopping experience easier and more convenient. And this is different. This is a huge difference between Amazon and Toys R Us. Rather than what can we do to get you to drive to our store, it's what can we do to make it easier for you. And so now where did that separation, that differentiation between these two organizations lead? Well, today, most of you know Amazon's doing great, constantly moving up in the market, really growing fast. They're always hiring here in Tennessee. Toys R Us, I think we all probably know what happened to them as well. Now, this isn't a knock on Toys R Us. Had they used this philosophy 20 years ago, it probably would have worked. What was different was Amazon and their philosophy. Amazon was innovative and cutting edge in their approach. This is an example of one organization trying to figure out how to do things the old way with new tools available to them. You can always still do things the old way, and maybe it's a little bit faster, maybe it's a little bit cheaper. But other organization in this case is asking, how can we use these new tools in a way that allows us to do things differently and better than our old way? You can always use monitoring tools your old way, manage your IT environment, finding ways to use those new tools in your old paradigm, always dealing with ever-tightening budgets, expanding expectations, and really you're on a path of Toys R Us. Or on the other hand, you can focus on disruptive, cutting-edge technology that leverages machine learning, which we're going to talk about here in a bit, to give you answers to questions to help better manage your enterprise-wide IT services with less cost. So now how does this example relate to TrueSight? So TrueSight is sort of, it's your opportunity to have a delivery innovation tool like Amazon's warehouse robots or maybe their contract leverage. It's a tool that's going to provide you answers that you need so that you can provide a better end-user customer experience regardless of who your customers may be, whether it's internal or external to your organization. TrueSight is really something that in the industry today is called disruptive. TrueSight is disruptive technology that allows you to incorporate machine learning into your organizations. These problems that TrueSight solves with managing maybe your cloud, your infrastructure machines, applications, all those type of things, those are all things that a human could do. You could throw humans or brains at this, but this is really, with TrueSight, it's really a brain in a box for you. So rather than throwing human bodies at the problem, you can send the problem to TrueSight, and while it may not be Siri like on your phone, maybe we call this Trudy. And so when you need answers to your questions, hey Trudy is the start of that process around things like your data center, your different cloud deployments. The tool can help from an event management perspective around all of those, understanding what's going on. So if you're an MSP or provide MSP services internally in your organization, you can keep up with what's going on with that infrastructure. It's really, the tool is an end-to-end monitoring solution and more. It provides you a single pane of glass for all your monitoring needs. We're fairly agnostic with other tools. We play well with other tools. So if you've got some monitoring tools that you're already using, maybe they were a part of another solution or another unit, another business unit in your organization, we can integrate with those tools. And so that unit can still get the benefit of the tool that they've been using, but then you can bring that data stream into TrueSight so that you've got that complete end-to-end single pane of glass. Monitoring things like big data. That's really one of the hottest aspects of IT management currently, with big data and things like Hadoop. So you can monitor those big data instances so that you know that you can be gleaning the results and the analytics and tools that you need out of that big data. Across the bottom here, different types of solutions that we can monitor. The end user experience. We're not going to talk a lot about that today. We've got some upcoming presentations where we'll cover some of these in more detail. But things like end user experience, how the applications are performing, operating systems, machine logs, mainframe, middleware, databases, all those type of things, bring them together in that single pane of glass. In addition, bringing in social data. So the future is going to require the ability to have a holistic view of your organization, a holistic view of what's going on, what's happening with the infrastructure, what's happening with the virtual machines, the applications on the machine, what's the end user experience against the website, the application that's running on that machine. How are they responding in social media about their experience on my website? So you're able to bring all of that into the tool so that the tool can make use of its machine learning and analytics that we'll get into here in just a minute, bringing all that together so that allows you to do root cause analysis quicker, allows you to do capacity optimization more completely, and integrate all of that with things like your service desk so that when a change occurs, we can immediately notify the service desk. If we can integrate that with your CMDB, so we can pull in all the necessary information so that your service desk knows how to handle that ticket. And even another aspect of TrueSight that we're going to cover in a future webinar is we can show you how TrueSight can help you categorize your service tickets and find areas optimization around your service desk as well. Automation. All of this can be integrated with your automation systems, things like BCM Atrium, so that we can automatically perform cloud provisioning and more. The other orchestration tools we can use, the RESTful API to integrate with those as well. And then here on top of all of this is our machine learning and analytics. Now, this is really a little different than what you might have heard about analytics in the last few years. I spent some time working with a tool called ClickSense, and it was a great analytic tool. Analytics are really great for handling large data sets, giving you a graphical view of the information so that you can find those trends and anomalies in your data. But TrueSight is different. TrueSight has those analytics, but it also applies something called machine learning. And this is where TrueSight can help understand what normal is for you. If your organization, you're talking at the water cooler about what's happening with your network, your infrastructure, your organization during the week, maybe everything heats up between 8 and noon on Monday before leveling out for the rest of the week. Now, a human understands what heats up means and level out means, and understands that, we're going to be pushing some thresholds on Monday morning, but then it levels out and everything's fine. TrueSight is your brain in the box. It's your Trudy, so that it understands that heats up and it understands that leveling out, so that it knows what's going on in your organization, and when something is out of bounds within the heat up or the leveling out, it can alert you or respond appropriately automatically for you. So that's the last of my slides. I want to jump over into the tool real quick. So this is our TrueSight operations management tool. And I'm starting here from something called application monitoring. So there's a couple of places we can go. I really don't want to make this a harbor tour of the product, but this is one of the more impactful areas that come with the tool out of the box. The things you're going to notice here are color coding. The entire screen is color coded so that you know right away what needs your attention. Here in the bottom, we've got green for everything okay, yellow, yellowish orange for might need your attention, red for definitely needs your attention. And then that actually gets broken out up here between warnings, minor and major issues, and then critical issues as well. So the whole tool is color-coded for you again so that you know right away what's going on. And again, the thing I want you to notice here is the end-to-end monitoring and how there's no need to visualize what's going on. You may have the ability today to look at your database tier, your end-user tier, your web tier, and network tiers. But do you have the ability to bring those all together to see them in this single pane of glass? And not only those tiers, but we can also bring in a synthetic tier. TrueSight takes advantage of Borland Silk Performer so that we can run synthetic transactions through and test performance periodically. Also, we can bring in the business tier, what's happening with sales, what's happening with performance within my organization, because all of that's related. All of those aspects of your business are related to the performance of your business. You can really think of this like a Rubik's Cube. And TrueSight really is that cube, that way to twist and turn your cube so that you can see it from all these different perspectives. One thing you'll notice as we go through here, a lot of times we end up on screens that look very similar, and the reason is because we're navigating down to events each time. But we come from a different perspective down to those events each time, depending on what matters to us. This application monitoring screen, again, is available out of the box. The system does this through automatic or manual modeling. So as it's looking at your network and your infrastructure, your machines, everything it's managing, it can pick out where those transactions are occurring and how they are interrelated between the different devices and applications in your system, and create this application model for you. Now, this is also available manual. Some applications are, too old to be able to be tracked down, but any fairly modern application, you're going to be able to do this automatically in the tool and automatically understand those relationships between the different service elements that make up that application. If we go in here to this web tier, you can click there and scroll down. The system will let me see my my events here directly related to this tier. And if I click over to my problems, I can see I've got some transaction latency on the server. So the thing I want you to get here is just a couple of clicks. I know right away I've got some latency issues on the server. This probably needs further investigation, but this can hint to a couple of different things, and we'll need to drill into those, into that detail to try to find out what's going on, what could be causing this latency. So let's scroll back up. And different places we can go here. We can go to all the events related to this application. Now, these are coming from different machines. I can look through my whole list, or I can narrow down just to my critical open events. And I can see here that my transaction latency, I've got some latency across the board with a couple of machines related to this application. So this is where the machine learning can come in, where we can ask the system, what's a probable cause for this? So anytime we have an event, regardless of how we get to that event detail like this, we're able to launch this probable cause analysis. And this goes out and this looks at other events that the system's captured, regardless of the source of those events, and it gives you a confidence score on which of those events are probably related to this event. And I know, look at my first one here, this 95%, my IIS GET requests are above my baseline. Now this is that machine learning where the tool has learned what normal looks like, and normal has gone outside the bounds of acceptable difference, an acceptable threshold. So from here, we can look at this event, but rather than do a probable cause like this just did, let's look at something called our IT data analytics. Now, this is where we can actually go in and maybe start confirming what we're seeing here. So this is one of our analytics views of the tool, and it's pulling up those events that are related to this, and it pulls it up in what's called an optimized view. I really want something called my detailed view so that I can see everything here. So when I look at this, here's my session ID. I notice that these first couple of session IDs are all the same. So if I click this, this actually adds it to my search criteria automatically. Now, if you noticed, there's probably a little screen delay, so it might not have been obvious to you, but when this was added, nothing changed across my chart here. Nothing changed within my data. My results stayed exactly the same when I limited them by this session ID. So what this tells me is that we've got a denial of service attack going on. Coming in from different IP addresses, everyone has the same session ID. We're undergoing that denial of service attack. We went through several screens to get there, but really that information was available right away. Here's my problem. I've got some latency on the server. Immediately go over to my events, narrow into my critical events, and I could have gone from right there IT data analytics. From my probable cause analysis, I also have the ability to store my logs and notes. Sorry guys, the screen changed on me here. I'm not sure what it looked like for you on your end. You can log your notes here about the event. This is true throughout the tool. So as you're working events, managing them manually, you can log your notes. Everything's color coordinated. Again, holistic view of your data. Very quick way to get from a top level view of what's going on in your organization down into the details and what's going on. Now that was just one way to get into the details. Our application monitoring screen is sort of a high-level view of those applications. And again, it's color-coded. Everything we're going to see in here is color-coded. This is available out of the box and happens automatically from configuration of the tool. But we've also got dashboards in the tool. Now, these are something that we create for you during implementation. So we'll work with you to determine, what's important, what you need to see. Things here like application server admin. Give this just a second to load. This is for like your data center folks. They can easily see what's going on with their servers. Here's that one that from our stock trader app that's having the denial of service attack. I know right away that it's critical. Different ways of looking at it. These are all these dashlets. The little graphs and charts are all available automatically in the tool out of the box. The dashboard allows you the ability to configure those on the screen in a way that makes sense to you. Another aspect here of the dashboards is maybe a different type of event view. Lots of ways to monitor events. Here in this event view, I can see the different counts of the different types or severity of events. Here I can drill into my devices. I've got 11 devices that have issues. Again, color-coded, so I know exactly what's going on here. System's got the ability to tag something as favorites. So in addition to security, allowing you to determine who can see what, I also have a way to set things myself as favorites so that I can just narrow right into those if I need to. Here is our WinWeb server, all the different types of things that can monitor this. We saw this just a minute ago. This was our baseline for GET requests, our latency server. So let's go back. Monitoring devices. The devices, applications, events, groups, and services, these are all perspectives of your event data that the system's going to provide for you out of the box. Everything color-coded, and really in each case, it's going to allow us to drill down into the server, into what's going on, and quickly get to the root cause of any of our issues. Now, one of the things we mentioned just a bit ago was our IT data analytics, and I want to focus on that for just a second. This really is a nice big data tool that allows us to look at our data, look at it, large data sets, and make quick changes to it as we move around. This is all configurable. Now, a lot of this that you see across the top are the different types of views for the different types of things that you might be monitoring, your DB2 instances, your Hadoop instance, and so on. These are all available out of the box, but these can be created as well if you need something special something that's not available out of the box. Here in our, it wants me to log in. Let's give it a login real quick. So here under our Hadoop, this is where we can see errors in the log. So you can see that each of these views of the system are specific to the type of data that it's bringing in. The whole point here is that this is going to allow us to have a big data view of all our data, start at the high level of what's going on, and then quickly drill down into those details, into the root cause of what's happening, what's going on with your system. So that's really all I had to show today. So this multiple perspective view of your data is coming. This may not be something that, you know, understanding infrastructure, machines, application, end user, social media, all those aspects, that may not be something that's on your plate today, but I can guarantee you that it's on your CIO's mind, and one way or another it's going to land in your lap. And when it does, are you going to be ready? Are you going to be Amazon? Or are you going to be Toys R Us? Rich, were there any questions?
I don't have any questions in the Q&A section as of right now, but folks, if you do have questions, now's the opportunity to ask. We do have Bobby on here, and he's able to provide great insight into this tool. So I'll give you a few seconds here to type in your questions in the Q&A section and remind you that for those of you that did attend today, we would be able to extend this link to this webinar to share with your coworkers if they are curious about it as well. Simply email us at info@flycastpartners.com. That's info@flycastpartners.com, and we'll ensure that you get a link to this recording within the next 5 business days. If you have any further inquiries, we encourage you to dial us at 844-FLYCAST. That's 844-359-2278, 844-FLYCAST. 844-359-2278. It appears we don't have any questions coming in as of right now, Bobby, so I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to explain to us the difference between Amazon and Toys R Us and how it relates to TrueSight. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And Rich, there's going to be more webinars coming up. TrueSight has a lot of functionality. We'll be covering that additional functionality, use cases for the entire TrueSight suite of products, including service ticket analytics, cloud cost control, and more. And I want everybody to remember before they go that when you've got with TrueSight, if you've got complicated IT operations questions, the answer could be as easy as, hey, Trudy. Thanks, Rich.
Well, and with that, you do have one question that came in, and they're asking, are there any companies out there using this tool now?
Yes. Yes, several companies using the tool right now. I don't have my list, but we've got several that we've sold recently, but the product's been out for 3-4 years now as TrueSight, and so there's quite a big customer base for it currently.
All right, very good. And it looks like that was the last of our questions. Folks, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy workday to join us today. Please take a look at our website and check out some future webinars that we have going on, and sign up for those as well. And keep on the lookout for more TrueSight webinars. And everyone have a great week and a fantastic weekend.